What's up, guys? Today we're going to talk about an article that was published on the NPR website. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. It was like the last week of September that it got published, and I just saw it 2 days ago. Took some notes on it. I'm pretty sure I just smelled weed on the road. Or skunk. Okay, anyway. Let's take out my handy dandy notes here. The article was called "Bias Isn't Just a Police Problem, It's a Preschool Problem." Now, when I first read this title, I thought the preschoolers are racist, because like they have all these funny articles that feminists write where it's just like, is your toddler racist? It's just the most laughable fucking thing you can think of. No. They're talking about preschool teachers being biased. I think like a second line of the fucking article is like, implicit bias. We all have them. And I'm thinking to myself, says you. Speak for yourself. You're just admitting that you're biased. You fucking mongoloid, as Sargon would say. Oh, I love that insult. They're just like, just because you're a biased son of a bitch doesn't mean that everyone is. Okay? I don't have any bias towards anyone. God, these people just break for nothing. What the fuck is wrong with these fucking idiots? Oh my god, this is just... I don't even know if I can make videos driving anymore because it's just so much fucking traffic. Anyway, sorry for a tangent. I've taken almost every single bias, racist test, you find on the internet. You can find a bunch of them, that try to test your hidden biases, your implicit bias everyone supposedly has. And every single time I score either no bias or the tiniest bias towards white people, which is laughable considering how I defend white people all the time. If I was biased towards white people, why would I defend them? I would just go with the flow and say that every white person is racist. That's what some Tumblr and the social justice warriors are preaching nowadays. It would be easier for me to agree with them. That's the mainstreams. I think that white people are all racist. But no, I take the time to defend white people because I know that not all white people are racist. And what's even more laughable is that I'm half white, half Hispanic, but I really don't look Hispanic, so society treats me as a white person. That's always laughable. People call me racist, and it's like, am I, like, let's say they call me racist towards Hispanics because I actually approve of kicking illegal immigrants out and reforming our immigration system instead of just giving amnesty. Apparently I'm racist towards Hispanics for that, and I'm thinking to myself, well, which half of my body am I racist to? Because I am half Hispanic. Is it the top half, or is it just straight down the middle and my right side's Hispanic, my left side's white? And that always befuddles them. So basically, the only result I've gotten for these bias tests is that I'm not biased, or I'm a little bit biased towards white people, that doesn't even make any sense. So basically, I have no bias. Okay, so I prove NPR wrong when they say everyone has biases. No, most people have biases. Most people are racist, at least. Most people are racist, at least towards one group. I would say most people are racist. I know that's kind of like a negative, kind of downer thing to think, not looking positive, but my interactions with people prove otherwise, because I've talked to many different people across all different ethnicities, and all you have to do is be racist towards one ethnicity to be considered a racist. You're like, oh, I can't be racist. I love black people. Okay, that means that you're not racist towards black, being racist towards Asians. So you can still be racist and not be racist towards blacks at all. Racist doesn't mean racist towards every other group but yourself. Like my Chinese landlord I used to have, she hated Vietnamese people. Fucking hated them. Didn't want to rent the other room to any Vietnamese people. Why? I don't fucking know. I didn't ask her because I didn't care, because I wasn't Vietnamese. But it was just like, she wasn't racist towards everyone but Chinese people. She was racist towards Vietnamese in particular, and she could have been racist towards Arabs. I don't know, but that's my experience has taught me that no, most people are racist at least towards one group or another, but not everyone is, and not everyone has implicit bias. Implicit bias is not just original sin that everyone is born with, and you have to actively unlearn, as the feminists say, to not be biased. No, you can just fucking not be biased, and that's the end of it. It's really fucking simple. It's not that fucking hard. Anyway, so back to the test. Basically, it said everyone has implicit bias. So the teachers watched the video, of a black kid, of a black boy, a black girl, a white boy, and a white girl, preschool kids, and they were told to identify challenging behavior. But here's the problem with the study right off the bat, is that the thing they're testing, their variable, is non-quantifiable. How do you quantify challenging behavior? What's challenging behavior, like unacceptable behavior, to one teacher could be totally acceptable to another teacher. So there's no standard, there's no rubric. You can't quantify a feeling. Oh, I feel that's challenging, that's not acceptable. Or I don't feel that's challenging or acceptable. How the fuck do you quantify that? So right off the bat, the study is not measuring anything measurable. They were measuring the eye movements. The teachers were told to look at the kids and identify challenging behaviors, and they found out that most white teachers were racist because they focused on the black kids more, specifically the black boy, sorry. They focused on the black kids more, especially the black boy. So that leads their study to conclude that they had implicit bias because they were paying attention to the black kid more because they expected him to do more challenging behavior. Which, okay, that makes logical sense. It's that's a bias. But if I was told to do that test, I would look at everyone equally. It's not that fucking hard to not have bias. But most people are pea-brained, and most people do have bias, at least towards one race or another, and that's judging on race. They judged that kid on his skin, oh, he's more likely to challenge behavior, so I'm going to look at him more. That's racist. It's so easy to not be racist. You just don't judge people based on their race. So I challenge anyone to find anything racist they actually do. Now, I've been called racist many times, but not for anything actually racist. The bullshit reasons I've been called racist is because, for example, I say, well, no, people of all races can be racist. Not just white people. Black people have personally been racist towards me. An institution I have been in has personally discriminated against me because I was white, and the leadership of this organization was primarily black and Hispanics, okay? So do not tell me that white people do not face any institutionalized racism. In the workplace, or in a school, or in a club, they can, okay? We're not just magically free of racism. We don't live in white supremacy, but me just saying all races can potentially be racist, that's being racist, So, racist is just one definition, judging someone based on their skin, and I have never done that, and I never will. Hence, why no one has called me racist for something that's actually racist, nor has any test I've ever taken shown that I am biased based on race. So, the point of this video was not to challenge the finding of the study, because the finding of the study, as far as I could tell, were logically correct. These teachers had implicit bias towards the black kids, but when the article says everyone has implicit bias, no, most people do. You just hang out with scumbags, apparently, because there are some good people in the world, believe it or not, who are actually not racist. The last point I want to contest on the article was that they had the fact black kids were 3.6 more times likely to be suspended. Another way of putting out that data is that 19% of preschoolers are black, but they account for 50% of suspensions. And the study implied that the reason why that is so is not because black kids act out more often, it's because white teachers focus on them more, so they're more likely to identify challenging behavior. That's why they get caught more, and that's why they get suspended more. To which I contest that may be in some of the cases, but in my experiences at school, the black kids got suspended more. One, because they just straight up acted out more. All kids of all races act out in high school. There was more like the white people who just angels, never did anything wrong. No, white people act up all the time in that school too. But the majority of the cases of acting out, just screaming, throwing things at the teacher, carrying on, just acting like a complete fucking retard. You're supposed to do your homework assignments. Most of those were black kids, even though they were not the majority in the school. So it could be that some cases which black kids are suspended, it could be the implicit bias that they found in this study, or it could be something else. It's never one thing or all the other. That's why I keep saying that's the moral of my story in all these videos. People think it's just black and white. Oh, the only reason why black kids are suspended more is because white teachers are racist towards them. Oh, the only reason why Hillary Clinton is losing the race is not losing, but the race is close, is because of sexism. That's the only reason. Black or white. It's this or that. No, that's not how fucking life works. I think, based on my experiences, that the big part of the reason why black kids are suspended more is because they straight up act worse. And it's not racist to say. That is just based on my experiences. Like I said, the majority of the people who acted out and did stuff that's worthy of being suspended, like fighting and breaking a desk and throwing chairs and yelling and cursing at teachers, most of those were black kids. Now, was it because of their race? No. Again, I'm not racist. I'm not judging them based on their race. I'm not saying because they were black, that is why they did those things. No. Each case had its individual, unique reasons as to why that kid acted out. It could be that his parents just sucked at parenting him, so he doesn't really have respect for authority. It could be that his parents were going through a divorce, so he was stressed out and he lashed out more. It could be that he thinks it's funny to throw stuff in class. Just whatever. There are different reasons. For each case, in congregate, make up the stat that I just said about the 3.6 times more likely to be suspended, and they account for 50% of all preschool suspension. Like, as long as I can remember, like back in elementary school, just farther back I can remember, it was the black kids that acted up more. They just had no respect for authority. They didn't want to be in class. Not all of them, but the ones that did act out that got suspension. That's what I mean. You know, I'm just thinking, sitting there to myself. Now, I didn't like. Who wants to be in school? I don't want to be in school. Fuck school. I want to go play and, have fun with my friends and stuff. So I thought to myself, no one wants to be in school, but you're just making it worse for yourself. So you might as well do the fucking work. And then I did lots of bad stuff in school too, but I didn't get caught. And it wasn't because the white teachers were looking at me less. It was because I was more sneaky. I was more subtle. I wasn't just making it so obvious. Like getting kicked out of class for chewing gum. Some of these kids are, and then the teacher says to me, get out in the hall, you chewing gum. Like, how did you catch me? I wonder the fuck why you were chewing like a fucking retarded cow. And then they wonder why they get caught all the time. I did my share of bad things in school, in grade school, all throughout grade school, but I didn't get caught. I knew how to be subtle. I knew how to get around the teachers, It's by using my fucking brain. But these kids, they don't have a brain. They just act out in the most obvious way, and then they get surprised when they get suspended. So what the study seems to do is to excuse black kids who act bad in school. And no, that is racist. You want the teachers to suspend black kids less to even out the stats when they're acting out more. No, that's giving racial preference based on race. That means a white kid, the moment he acts out, he knows he's going to get suspended. But a black kid, no, he can do a couple of things because the teacher has to give him a couple of passes to even out the stats. So there's no 3.6 more likely to be suspended. No. The answer to racism is not more racism. It's not judging on race at all. But the leftists, NPR is far left, they want to excuse black agency. They want to deprive minorities of having agency or free will, and all they want to do is they want to categorize every single result that you can attribute to a minority, social class, in a country, down to, the white people being racist towards them. That's the answer. That's the answer to everything. That's the answer to why black people commit more crime. That's the answer to why, everything, every single thing. They want, no one does anything bad except for white people. That's what the study's saying. Black kids don't act out more, they just get caught more because the white teachers are racist to them and pay attention to them more. That could be the case in some schools and some instances of suspension. I'm not saying it's totally out of the realm of possibilities, because right here they found this bias, but to think that covers all the cases ever in the history of the US, no. Because I have known plenty of black kids who acted like complete crazy people and got suspended, rightfully so. So when you look at the stats of my high school, black kids got suspended more. No, it wasn't because of racism. Usually it was minority teachers who were kicking them out anyway. So you're saying that a black teacher hates black people so much that he kicks out black people more. So he hates himself. Oh, internalized racism. That's a new term the left came up with that seems to explain why certain races support certain ideas that even hurt themselves. It's because they don't know they're racist. No, you know when you're racist. It's fucking obvious. So that's all I have to say about that. I think I made my conclusions pretty clear. The different ways of looking at data. And it's not all one thing or all the other. It's not that every single black kid acts worse and that's why they get suspended more. No, it's not the case. But it's also not the case that every single black person that got suspended was because of racism.